Well, hi you guys, welcome back to the Needy Homesteader channel, and today we're gonna can. We have canning on the agenda. I've got asparagus that I want to can with you. I know so many of you have reached out to me and said that you've never canned asparagus. I had a couple questions on the texture of the asparagus once it's canned. It is cooked, so it's going to be very much like, is it the Jolly Green Giant? I'm digging back into my childhood roots, but you know, like the Green Giant canned asparagus, I grew up on that, so I loved cooked asparagus that way. To me, it's not mushy. It's cooked though, and it's going to be soft because it's cooked in water, and it's pressure canned. So it's going to be soft, but with some salt and pepper. I just love it. I love cooked spinach though. I mean, I grew up eating spinach out of a can. It was like my favorite vegetable as a kid. Next to cooked green beans. I like canned green beans. I like them cooked. I also love them raw and cooked, like, you know, in a cast iron pan. Same with asparagus. So I'll just say there isn't an asparagus that I've met that I didn't like, or a potato, or a green bean, or a carrot, or a zucchini, or a yellow squash. I just like veggies, and I like them cooked all different ways. So if you don't like asparagus that's soft, this might not be for you. However, if you don't mind it, you might like this. My best advice is always try it. Try it once. And if you don't like it, then you know to put that on your list. Make a mark in your canning book of things that you enjoy, things that you don't. There's some things that I love peppercorns in, and then there's some things that I don't necessarily like peppercorns in. You will find in your canning journey things that you enjoy, things that you don't enjoy. There are some things that I've canned that I don't necessarily like canned. Potatoes is one of them. Is it great to have on your shelf in, you know, a quick fix? Yes, sure. Do I necessarily like them? Are they my go-to? No. So I would much rather, you know, a fresh potato or even a frozen potato over a canned potato. They're just not my favorite. So but you will find I have a video on it. Some of the things I love to can, some of the things I don't like to can. I'll leave a link to that video up above if you want to check it out. I will forewarn you, I'm going to put a little disclaimer in this video before we get started, that I am coming off of a very mild 5 milligram non-narcotic muscle relaxer, but I have been on this muscle relaxer since my second leg reconstructive surgery. I had a lot of spasms in my leg, pain, uncontrollable pain, and this little bit of muscle relaxer as I came off of the oxycodone was exactly what I needed to be able to walk, learn how to walk again and function. And without it, I still get a lot of muscle spasms. I just have a lot of muscle and nerve damage. However, I'm 52. And I pray to God that I have a lot of life to live. And do I necessarily want to be locked in, especially in an emergency situation, dependent on a medication? Not necessarily. So I'm going to try to go off of it. My doctor has already reassured me that it's non habit form, it's not a narcotic, that I can easily stay on it if I need it, if it makes my life, my quality of life a little easier. I'm going to try to do it without. So I am technically, the last time I took it was Friday morning. It is now noon on Monday. So my pain is high. My muscles really ache. So I might move a little slow in my kitchen. Now, I put out a poll asking you guys if you wanted to see this recipe in my All-American canner or in the Presto electric canner. And I put up 2 polls, one on Facebook and one on YouTube. And the one on YouTube is slightly ahead for the Presto, and the poll on Facebook is way ahead on the All-American. I am going to just go ahead and use the All-American. Just because it's a little easier on me today, and 2, because I started getting the comments of, is the Presto canner tested and approved? It is by Presto, and Presto is the #1 selling pressure canner, stovetop pressure canner out there. It's the #1 most used. I trust their testing. I trust their finding. I know Rose Red Homestead has also tested the Presto canner. The problem is the USDA wants to be the lead in testing and approving, and yet they're refusing to test and approve. So they're, the last that I heard, they're no longer testing canners of any kind. So where does that leave us as a canning community? That's another whole conversation we can have. So just to make it easy, to make it safe, and to make it so that I'm not overwhelmed with a bunch of comments about, you know, the debate on whether or not the Presto electric pressure canner is safe or not. We're just going to forego it for now, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use my beautiful green All-American stovetop canner, pressure canner, to can these asparagus. So I got my asparagus. Now this is something that I didn't grow, so for anybody out there that cans, that feels like, well, if I don't grow it, I can't can it, that is absolute nonsense. You can can anything that you can put in a jar, you can can. So this asparagus came fresh from my a fruit market in town. They were absolutely beautiful. Wait till you see them. And I'm going to can them up. Am I going to grow asparagus this year? No. I am not. But it doesn't mean I can't can it. And it doesn't mean that I can't get it fresh from another local source. So it's local and fresh and beautiful, and we're going to get it in jars. I am using this book here. This is the Ball Home Preserving book, and the asparagus can be found on page 388. If you have this, I'll leave a link to this down below. You can get this in a soft cover. I chose to get this one, of course, in spiral bound. I think it was like $5 more, and it's worth it to me to be able to lay flat. And again, make notes in your books. You know, your anyone that gets your canning book from you, whether it goes down your family line or whether one day you give it away or sell it, your little notes might help someone. So make sure, you know, write in your books. I always do, and put on there how you like it. Now, I particularly like my asparagus canned with some peppercorn and some canning salt, so that's what I'm going to be adding. And I can mine in pint and a half jars. So unfortunately, Ball never does not make them anymore. However, Azure does. I have not purchased them yet from Azure because I'm still so nervous about making my first order with Azure and picking it up somewhere I'm not familiar with and figuring all that out. So once I get over those jitters, I'm going to order them from Azure, but I have quite a few of them from Ball because I bought as many as I could find when I found out that they weren't going to make them anymore. It is like one of my favorite jars. I like canning my beef in them because it cans 1.5 pounds of beef, which is perfect for my family of 5. Those jars are just the best. And I know so many of you love them too, but Azure does sell them. So check into that, especially if you buy from Azure. And with that, I'm going to take you into my kitchen and we're going to can some asparagus together. Guys, we're out in the kitchen. I'm going to kind of just swing you around and show you how I have this all set up, what we're doing. Asparagus is pretty easy to can. The first time I canned it, I put the tops facing up towards the top of the jar, and getting them out without breaking the floret is really difficult. So we're pointing them down now, just like the ball canning book says to do. It's just easier to pull them out when you go to heat them up and cook with them, or, you know, serve them. We just serve them as a side dish. And so I'm going to spin you around. I'm going to show you my setup and show you what I got going on. I am adding black peppercorns and canning salt to mine because that's the way I prefer them. That's the way my kids like them. And 40 minutes in a 1.5 pint jar. The perfect jar for these. So, all right, let's go. First, we've got the 1.5 pint jars in my Ball electric water bath canner. They're getting nice and hot and ready to go because we are going to raw pack them. So that's the way that I prefer it. I don't like to cook them beforehand. I've got my All-American canner out here. It's got 3 inches of water in it. I've got to put a splash of vinegar in it. And then over here we have our asparagus. Look how beautiful. This one's a deep one. So I got this again at Jay's Fruit Market in town, and I got 4 packages. And I'm hoping, I've got 7 jars. I'll be happy with even 4 jars if that's all we can get. But just having some asparagus on my pantry shelf for the winter, I just love. Here are my peppercorns and my canning salt. I have my rings out. I did want to show you. This is a rusty ring. I would not put that near my food. So, rusty ring, that's going to go in the garbage. We want nice, clean rings. We're still going to give these a hot wash in hot soapy water. I am going to be using Superb lids again. I'm excited to try those again, this time in the wide mouth instead of the regular. So what I do with these is I take them over to my sink, hot soapy water, and, well, I think I've got one. Oh, I've got 1 ball in here. That's okay. We'll use 1 ball. I'm just going to plop them in. Okay. I'm going to make sure that they're not sticking together. And my hands are not the best, but Lord willing, they still work for me, so I am happy. All right, we're going to get our rings. My jars were washed in the dishwasher last night, and so those are nice and clean. And in there, I'm going to get out my funnel, my lifters, my debubbler. All of it's going to go in here for a quick wash. I have a canning basket that I use. So, lifters, that's got to go in the garbage. Funnel, all of this, hot soapy water, and I just give them a nice good wash so everything that I'm using is nice and clean. I'm going to take down a little dish for vinegar. Get that filled for cleaning my rims. A little kerplunk of it right into the canner. And then I'm going to spin you around here and get you set up here. And this is nice and clean. I'm going to go ahead and put my asparagus in here and give it a nice good wash. I'm going to inspect them so that none of them are bad. Okay. Oh, they're so nice and tender. Now, I love asparagus grilled up. Grilled, sauteed, cooked in butter, cooked in cast iron, cooked on my Blackstone. I love asparagus every way, but I grew up with eating them canned. My mom was not, she's not cooked from scratch. So she never
cooked vegetables really from the raw state. Everything was canned. And so this is what I grew up on. And I love it still to this day. There's not, honestly, very few veggies that I don't like. I don't like mushrooms, really. Not a fan. Not a fan of the mushrooms. So I'm gonna get a bowl out, and then I'm gonna give these a good wash and get them in a nice clean bowl. So I'm showing the whole process because I know there's many of you that have never canned asparagus before, and you are really interested in seeing how the process is done. So when you read your book, you can watch this video, and you can kind of put a visual next to what you're watching. I mean, a visual next to what you're reading. Words are hard today, Heather. That's okay. We're moving slow. We're moving slow. But this is exciting, and this gets my mind off my pain a bit. So, doing something productive, putting food by for my family, in case, you know, something ever were to happen, God forbid again. They're gonna have at least some home canned asparagus on the shelf, thanks to Mom. Now we're gonna cut these to the size of our jar. Of course, you're gonna cut off anything that's too woody. But honestly, during the canning process, these cook up so beautifully. I've never had a problem. Now I have not canned asparagus. I've eaten fresh asparagus since the accident, but not canned it. But before our accident, this is something that I did every year. It's one of those things that I love to put up on the shelf. And I don't know, there's something about like a cold, snowy winter day and opening up, I don't know, a can of it's just homey for me. It reminds me of my childhood. So anyway, all right, so this is what we're doing. I'm gonna get those other 2 packs cleaned up. Then I'm gonna get my canning equipment washed up and over on the counter, and get this process going. Is I'm just gonna butt this up against my jar, okay? And so I want my point down, and we don't want these going beyond the 1-inch head mark, okay? So you can do them straight across if you want. You can do them on a really pretty angle, which is how I like them. And then you just want to make sure that they have plenty of space in that jar, okay? Now that one I kind of cut a little too much because I got fancy. So I'm gonna do this one as my test, and we're gonna do right about there. Just a little bit shorter. and that'll be good. Okay, so now that I have a test one, anything, any of these extras are just gonna either go, are going to go to the compost, okay? So now that I have my one, I can line up all my others, and I know that's about where I want to cut it. And you can check a couple just to make sure you're doing it. Okay. Because you want to make sure it gets below that 1 inch headspace. I also have going my kettle. And with these ends, if they're not too woody, you can chop them up and saute them and cook with them if you want. I just don't want to can it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to put this back in. And we'll get, all right, once you get these all sliced up, what I do is I go in, and just because these are not delicious, I just pull off all the little, all these little pokies, the little leaves that they have. That's all. So it's just green like that, okay? And then I'm just gonna put them back in my bowl. So I'll show you more close up. So I just take these and I just peel them off. They come right off. Okay. Just clean them off the stem. That is it. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just prefer them this way. And then I will put them right back in the bowl, and then we'll be able to get these in jars. I do it all the way up to the flour. Little labor of love, but that's, you know, that's the whole goal. That's the whole point, right? Is doing this for the love of your family, to feed them well out of your pantry. So, all right, I'm gonna keep going, and I'll meet you at the camp. Here we go. Here we go. Huh? All right. Gonna get out these jars. I know this is gonna be kind of a tricky, kind of a scene setup here. Hopefully you guys can see. Take these hot jars out. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead, put our wide mouth funnel on, and now we're going to put these point side down into the jar, okay? And if I've got to cut some, I will. I've got hot boiling water in my kettle. I might have to, let me get a little paring knife here. That one's a bit long. Okay. We're just going to pack in as many as we can. This jar is hot, so you might need a, oh, you're going to worry about the funnel. These are so clean. I clean these so well. Cut this one a little bit. More. Okay. I'd rather have to cut them a little bit than to cut them too short, if that makes sense. So pack as many in here as we can, nice and tight. Also too, because this is a serving for my family, so make sure sorry about that. You ran out of battery on me. Must have filmed more than I thought I did. Kind of like Jenga. Trying to fit all these in. I'm getting them as packed as I can. Save your little guys for the end. You'll have some skinny ones and then you'll have some big kind of fatties. Just get it as tight as you can without breaking the flowers. Did I say Tetris or did I say Jenga? I don't know. I don't know, Heather. Your brain don't work all the time, girl. All right, that's good impact for me. You guys can see that, hopefully. There you go. Okay, got the 1-inch head space. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna take our boiling water. First, I'm going to get rid of all these little stems here. And then I'm going to take, I'm adding a ½ teaspoon of peppercorns and a ¼ teaspoon of candy salt. Okay, not much, just a little. And then we're going to go ahead with my kettle. This is what makes having a kettle so nice. I used to do a pot of water, you know, with a ladle. That works too. Oh, but in my older age, man, and especially with my injuries, it's just really nice having things more tailored to me. So we're going to debubble. Okay. And I've got a lively house. Everyone knows I'm canning, so they're going to try to be as quiet as possible, but it's a lived-in house, okay? All right, once we debubble all the way around inside, okay, sometimes that hot water will loosen up enough to where you can add another like that. And then I want to make sure that we're at 1-inch headspace, so I'm going to top that off. Take your time, not in any rush. Okay, I'm going to take some vinegar and clean those rims. Okay, I'm going to get a lid and a ring, fingertip tight, and that is it beautiful. Look at, you see the little peppercorns floating? So pretty. Okay, in the canner it goes. All right, and then we're gonna keep going here. So I'm gonna grab the jar out. And I'm just gonna shut this off now. It doesn't have to boil anymore. I just wanted these jars to be nice and hot. Of course, my fingers don't like it nice and hot, but it is what it is. It'll cool down a little bit so you can touch it. And then we're just gonna cut as needed, okay? I like to try to get the big fat ones in first. Okay, let me get a little towel here. Hold this jar. This is the hardest part, honestly, is just touching the hot jar. So let me know in the comments if you have ever canned asparagus. If not, do you think you'll try it? Do you like cooked asparagus like this? Did you grow up on it like I did? Let me know down below. It's always interesting because, you know, even my girlfriends are like, just talking to my girlfriend Constance, she's like, I did not have that growing up, like canned asparagus. So, but she said asparagus grows wild where she is. I don't think I've ever lived anywhere where I have found wild asparagus. But I can't even imagine how fun that would be to go hunting in your backyard for it. Alright, so you want to try to get these as aligned as possible so you can get them packed as full as possible. Okay, try one more here. Get one more. There. Okay. And then, what is that saying? Okay. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I really think it's almost to the point where I need a new one because it is just acting up. It is eating batteries and now it's blinking a red camera with an X on it. I don't even know what that means. So now I have you in a different film mode. So I'm hoping it shows up okay. We're just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna, Lord, if it be your will that this video gets out, please let it be your will. Please just let it work out, Father God, that this video can get out and help others who want to can asparagus, Father. All right, I'm gonna fill up my kettle so that it can get back to boiling while I'm packing this. And you know, this is what canning involves. It's a lot of moving parts, if you will. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to debubble. I'm going to go all the way around the ends, the edges, I should say. I'm sorry, you guys, you know, you'll notice I use a lot of the wrong words. I know some people like to correct me, and I don't mind because I'm just getting used to it. It's just my brain injuries. It picks the wrong words sometimes, and I'm just learning to surrender to that, as you know, that's just my new normal. have a lot to be thankful for, that I'm even alive to do this. So I'm not going to complain. But forgive me, please, if I use the wrong words, because you'll notice I do that quite often. All right, I'm going to get rid of these little scraps. And we'll go ahead and make room on that. Get one of these beautiful Superb lids on here. I'm excited. This will be my first time pressure canning with Superb. I water bath canned, as you guys know, the dandelion jelly with Superb lids, but this will be my first time pressure canning, and I'm really excited. And there we have it. Absolutely beautiful. Now I know there's talk about like different things that you can add to the water to keep it green, like your green beans. I don't worry about that. My kids don't care if green beans or asparagus are super green. I try to keep it as natural as possible. I don't mind things in their natural state, you know? So I don't add anything, but I think there's like something, I don't know if it's zinc or I don't know. Oh darn it. No, I forgot to put salt and pepper in that one. That's okay. That's all right. It'll still be delicious. I should put it now. Put it in now, Heather, so I don't forget. Okay, we'll put it in first thing. That's what we're gonna do. We'll put it in first thing. All right, and then let's get this loaded here. And like I've said in previous videos, I never know when to turn off the camera, how much you guys want to see. But every time I film like all the parts, even if it's long, you guys don't mind, especially if you're new to canning. So many new canners have told me, Heather, I really appreciate that you just leave everything in so that I can see. So I do not mind doing that. This one is long. I'm going to cut that one. Okay. My fingers are somewhat calloused, so when the jar starts to cool down a little bit, I can actually touch it. I know this is going to be too long. Okay. Oh, I want to save that. That's a little thin one. This one's going to need to be cut. And you probably hear the kitties and the mama cat. Mama cat talks to her babies all the time as they're getting around, moving around, getting into things. Okay. Got that. Okay, now we're going to use some of these littler ones as a filler. It's a little too tall. Can I get that one in? I can. Okay. So when it gets pretty full like that, even though I still have a space, I know that if I add the water to it, we'll be able to move it around a little bit. So we're gonna debubble. Once that hot water gets in here, they get soft, so they get a little bit more pliable, so you can put some more in. Okay. I think I could do one more little skinny girl, I think. There we go. There we go. This one's just a little too tall for my liking. Cut that one off. Pack them in. All right, now go back and debubble all the way around. Let's see all the bubbles come out. And then start going on the inside. All that air out. A lot of times when you have issues with your headspace, it could just be as simple as just not debubbling enough. Okay. Push it down. Make sure it's packed. Let's top it off at 1 inch headspace. Beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead, clean that off. Get a lid on it. A ring on it. Whew. And there it is. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Okay. Alright, I think this video is probably going to be long enough. Probably too long. I'm so sorry if it is. Maybe I'll speed the rest of this up and set it to music. Do you guys mind that? That way I don't bore you, but you can still see the process. All right, let's do that. All right, insert music here, Heather.
Gone over this 1,000 times before. Baby, it's now or never. Gotta leave this town and I know what you're asking for. You say it's out of my reach, but I can't pretend no more. 'Cause for as long as I remember, it's been stuck inside my mind. You can't ask me to surrender when reaching for the dream keeps me alive. 'Cause it's keeping me alive. Interstate might take me nowhere. Anywhere is better than the places I have been. Sunsets in my rearview mirror, a projection of my old life fading. You say it's out of my reach, but I can't pretend no more. 'Cause for as long as I remember, it's been stuck inside my mind. You can't ask me to surrender when reaching for the dream keeps me alive. 'Cause it's keeping me alive. Lost outside of nowhere, a stormy rain tried to wash away the dream. Staff wanted, says a worn out side.
Now, I got, didn't I say I'd be happy if I got 5? That's what I got. All right, so what I'm gonna do, typically I would like can something like water or something like that. I don't want to waste these jars though on canning water, okay? So I'm gonna rearrange these, although I don't want them to walk during the pressure canning process. So I'm gonna fill them. Actually, I'm just gonna leave this one full. Okay, and then I'm gonna fill this one with water. I'm basically just going to use this as a spacer. So, all right, let me get my lid on and we're going to get this can. Okay, now we have all those in. Let's get our lid on. Let me get my little tool. And so I just make sure that the lid is nice and even all the way around. And then we are going to, I know you guys are a little close for that, aren't you? I'm sorry. All right. Clamp down our lid. This is a 921 canner. Take the weight off. We don't need that yet. Then we start to crank it down, crank it down. Make sure it's tight, right? And make sure that it's over the heat. I'll go ahead and turn this on high. And then when this starts to vent, it'll be 10 minutes, and then we'll put the weight on, 10 pounds. We're going to be canning these because they're 1.5 pint jars. We're going to can them as if they're quarts. So these are going to be canned for 40 minutes. So once we put the weight on, we wait for the first jiggle. We wait till it reaches at least 240 degrees. We want to keep it around 10 pounds of pressure. We don't want to run our canner too hot because that affects your headspace. It's just, if you're running it too hard, too hot. So we want a nice, even canning session. Around 240, 10 pounds of pressure. You should hear, on an All-American, you'll hear the jiggle 2 to 4 times, I believe, a minute. And then 40 minutes, we'll shut it off. We'll let it come off of pressure, and we'll bring these beauties out, and you guys can see what they look like. Canned asparagus. So excited. It's been a while. Okay. So we are at a little over 240. So we're going to turn this down now. I know that for me, it's like around my medium. I want to get this to jiggle about 3 times a minute. But between the gauge and the jiggle, you should be able to find a nice sweet spot. So that is it. I made my beach body shake, and so now I just gotta clean up my mess, drain this, clean up my sink. I'm making meatballs tonight, and I'm gonna batch some to put some in the freezer as spaghetti meatballs, and I would make sourdough bread, but I kind of was a little busy. Ooh, look at that. Oh, she's so happy. So, maybe tomorrow. I still have to cut up these melons and make a melon fruit salad. And right now, Mina wanted to try Beachbody. That's my dense nutrition.
It's It's very yummy.
So I get more
I like it.
stuff to help me feel better. So anyway, okay. I'm gonna get that regulated and 40 minutes on the timer. Okay. Open this. My kitchen is kind of cool, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna crack open the lid. Okay, that's how I do it. Just gonna let some of that steam out. Don't want to shock any of the jars, and we're going to give that a couple of minutes, and we'll lift out. Bring these jars out. What, honey? Oh, Mama Kitty. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's all sealed. And I'm just going to bring out, pour out the water, those empty jars that I'm going to put right over here. I guess that normally I would put something in there like water or something, but these are 1.5 pint jars and they're precious to me. So, all right, let me you off of the tripod here, and get you. Now as these cool down, these will come down. They look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And that is it. Canning asparagus. Okay, that's it. Let me know down below if you're gonna give this a try. I hope this was fun for you. I hope if you've never canned asparagus before, you give it a try. Like I said, we love it. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll try my very best to answer them for you. And until next time, I'll see you guys. God bless.